I think that Nigma loses this game 100% of the time if Miracle doesn't have an absolutely excellent performance on this Drow Ranger. Hello everyone, this is Donnie aka Elevated with another video here on behalf of Dota Alchemy, and this one is going to be covering the way that Nigma set up their laning stage in Game 4 against RNG at the recently played Bukovel Minor. And this was a completely insane game. For those of you who haven't seen it, spoiler alert, Nigma did come out on top in this one. And I think that one of the only reasons that they were able to do so was because Miracle was given such a good game from the laning stage, because he was really the only person on Team Nigma that was having a good game. And you can see he's playing a Drow Ranger against a bunch of very good gap closers, heroes that are generally thought of as quite good against Drow Ranger. And so if he has a even remotely mediocre or bad game, he is going to get absolutely murdered in all of the mid game and late game team fights. So I thought that it was really cool how Nigma played this laning stage, and it was an awesome example of how the support role is a lot more flexible than people think. I think that too many people just default into autopiloting into a 2-1-2 setup because that's just how Dota has been played over the last year and a half. But in this game, there's a couple of really interesting factors that make a slightly different laning setup make a lot more sense. And the first factor is that you have a Drow Ranger. So this is a hero that obviously does not do very well in the early stages of the lane because she has 1 armor, a pretty low health pool, 60 base damage is decent, but she's not a hero that generally trades very well. And on the other side for RNG, we have 2 heroes, Doom and Omni Knight, that want to just completely run at the safe lane. Both of these heroes excel at, getting phase boots, pushing the lane in with Purification and Scorched Earth, and then just diving the tower. And this is kind of how they want to play the game. They want to just put as much pressure on the Drow Ranger as possible, and the best way for them to do that is to just basically run forward at the Drow. Right here is kind of an interesting part of this laning setup. We can see that GH has actually walked all the way from bottom to the top lane. And this is with the purpose of sort of shutting down the concept of how RNG want to play this laning stage. If Omni Knight and Doom are in the lane together, they're able to sustain very heavily with both the Heavenly Grace and Purification, with the Devour on Doom, and September is in the bottom lane for now, but he will end up in the top lane with the Omni Knight. And there's just really no way to harass them out of the lane, which means that they're going to get experience, and then they are going to eventually just dive you under tower and make Drow's laning pretty much impossible. At some point, Miracle will have to leave the lane if this lane is kind of played as a status quo. However, because Doom is bottom, and even if Doom was top, this would still happen, more importantly, because GH came to the top lane, they were able to make this play, and we actually see Kuroki taking Curse of Avernus level 1 as a position 5 Abaddon, which seems kind of ridiculous, but when you pair it with both an Orb of Venom, which he has started with, and then the Frost Arrow slow plus GH's ability to block people off, you end up with a very, very strong kill tri-lane. But more importantly than that, it sets them up to make this secondary play. You can see that GH kind of fakes going to the bottom lane, but then he actually sticks around here in the top lane. And the reason for this is because the main way that RNG win this lane is if Doom and Omni Knight are able to play together and just slowly wear down the Dire's regen and get their levels. But because GH is still up here and Flywin has already died once and TP'd back, he's now in danger of being forced out of the lane for quite some time, because if he dies here again, he will have to walk all the way back from base. And we can actually see that there's a creep wave here that Miracle has completely abandoned, because he recognizes that if they kill this Omni Knight, he's going to have 2 or 3 free waves of creeps where the Omni Knight will get 0 experience and Miracle will have absolute free farm. So Miracle gets another kill on the Omni Knight. Doom is trying to drag creeps because that's what the Omni Knight was trying to do, recognizing that this lane is actually kind of hard with 3 heroes up here. And now September is also going to end up feeding to this great combo of Earthshaker and Abaddon with the Curse of Avernus and the Orb of Venom. And meanwhile, Miracle is free farming under the tower. Now, because Doom also died there, you're going to see that the Omni Knight is having to walk back to lane. He's still level 1, 0 experience. Miracle is level 2, almost level 3. And this is a great thing that Kuroki is doing. He is taking 0 experience from Miracle. The only experience that he has gotten so far is from when they were initially killing September and the Omni Knight, when there were creeps kind of around, and now he's getting a little bit of experience from pulling the lane and trying to control the creep wave. Meanwhile, Doom trying to get back to lane as well. So far, Miracle has played almost 2 minutes of this laning stage against basically 0 heroes because neither the Omni Knight or the Doom has been able to actually enter the lane. This is not how the Drow Ranger versus Omni Knight Doom matchup should go. Because GH has been able to make these rotations, RNG is now actually at a pretty dangerous point in this game because they have a level 1 Doom, a level 2 Omni Knight, and Miracle is basically level 4 because Kuroki is taking no experience. And now the Drow Ranger is kind of scary because she has a 32% slow on Frost Arrows, and she does a lot of damage with multi-shot. Drow is kind of one of those heroes where if you have a level advantage on somebody, the hero actually kind of becomes a lane bully. It's a hero that has to run away from the other team until you do enough damage to where the other team has to run away from you. And Nigma has kind of gotten the Drow to that point already 2 minutes into this game because of how huge a discrepancy in experience this lane has gotten to. You can see that Miracle basically is able to single-handedly force the Doom out of the lane with his 0 armor. Very easy target to pressure. And this is such a simple lane for Miracle to play on the Drow Ranger because there's just nobody laning against him. Again, Kuroki not taking any experience, playing basically as a wall between anybody entering this lane, and Doom is having to resort to pulling the lane when they would prefer to be running at Miracle and diving him under tower. So this is all happening down here. You can see Kuroki just kind of being annoying, just being a huge distraction. Miracle, again, free farming under tower. 0 pressure from this very high pressure lane of Doom Omni Knight. And just in that way, I think that Nigma has given themselves a pretty good chance at winning this fairly difficult game from a draft perspective, at least for the Drow Ranger. So at 5 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, we can see that Miracle actually hits level 6. And if we go to the EXP hero levels, if we go to the hero levels, he's actually the same level as the mid because he has had so much solo experience. Again, Kuroki still only level 2 because he's not sapping any experience at all. And Omni Knight is only level 4, Doom is level 3. So there's basically no way that a melee hero can now lane against this Drow, and that means that RNG is forced to either bring significantly more heroes to this lane, they're forced to maybe rotate the Queen of Pain, they're forced to maybe rotate the Spectre plus the Chen plus maybe the Queen of Pain as well, or they have to just essentially let Miracle have a completely free game because there's nothing they can do to this Drow Ranger at the moment. And so basically all I wanted to illustrate with this video is just to show that it's not really about what the status quo says you should do as a support, or really as any hero for that matter. You have to actually think about what is happening in this game. How is this game going to play out under normal circumstances? And how can I affect that by maybe changing something up, by making a specific rotation at a certain time? Maybe changing up how the laning stage starts. Because Dota is a game where one small change, one small mistake, one small advantage can snowball into something much bigger that can affect the entire outcome of the game. And like I said, I think that Nigma loses this game 100% of the time if Miracle doesn't have an absolutely excellent performance on this Drow Ranger, and he's not set up to do that from a draft perspective. So it's really all about how Nigma approached this game that allowed them to even have a shot at winning this matchup and eventually the minor as well. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you tag a support player, a friend maybe who lanes with you and just sits there behind you, helping you deny or soaking your experience, because let's be honest, that's one of the most annoying things that happens in pubs. And that's why I made this video, is that I hope that I can kind of convince everybody out there in the community that you don't necessarily just have to sit in the lane because you are the position 5 or the position 3 or the position 2. Your lane is where you start as a base lane, but there's so many other things that are going on in the game, and you need to read the entire situation globally and then make decisions where you should be based off of that. So good luck in your games. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we will see you in another video very soon.